Welcome back. This is episode 2. I'm Grace.
I'm Garrett, and this is
Brewing with the Brewers.
Woke up late, but I'm feeling fine. Hot cup in hand and a clear state of mind. Talking about nothing, but that's something too. Kicking it off with a brew or two.
Since we forgot to do it last week, I figured we probably needed to talk about our coffee right off the bat. So I'm drinking, of course, our Great Value coffee along with some sugar-free chai and some half and half.
And I'm drinking my leftover roasters. Coffee company here. I got to take an actual break today. My daughter let me go for the first time in 5 months.
It's rare.
So I got to go to Roasters and have some coffee, and my little sister came over with me. She went to Roasters, and shout out to Danny Girl, my number one BFF, and besides Garrett, of course, and I guess my baby's first too. But I was gonna say blood related BFF, but my kids are full.
I think we're all. Well, I'm not.
No,
Might as well
you're
be.
not. I hope you're not. That would be really bad.
Cousin comments. Sweet home Alabama, baby.
Well, that's how we're starting.
This is how
today.
this is starting off. Whoops.
Oh man.
That got awkward fast.
Yeah.
This is when you drink your coffee slowly.
Take a nice little sip.
You just stare at the camera.
No, today was a good day for that though, because it's August 15th today, and today is my dad's birthday, and we talked about him a little bit in the last episode. So he passed away. It's 2025. He passed away 12 years ago. So it was nice to get to chill a little bit and just kind of sit with myself and think about him. After Danny Girl left, before I left, and so I just kind of sat there and crocheted, and there was nobody else in the coffee shop except for the employees, so it was real quiet, and it was just a nice little...
Good to have your old lady moment as well.
Yes, I got my granny moment on. Here come the grannies.
We haven't gotten a Bluey reference in. How insane is that?
I know. Bluey's the best.
I guess this weekend was weekend. It all blends together at the moment. I guess that's what having kids is like. But I think it was just a sibling weekend. Cody came down and we got to hang out, and me and him made an impromptu trip out of town yesterday, and I felt bad because I was having fun, don't get me wrong, but Grace was stuck here with the kids, and while that's not a problem, it does get very lonely when you're only talking to a 3-year-old and every other conversation is either about his butt or Bluey. So
God, and our daughter was spitting up so much. We took 3 showers yesterday. I don't know what I ate to make her spit up so much. Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, and she the little boob barnacle, as we like to call her.
She is a boob barnacle.
She is attached to her mother. So
I actually shared something on Facebook today, and it said I don't have a Velcro baby. I have because I've always called her the Velcro baby, but it was I don't have a Velcro baby. I have a Gorilla Glue Bond baby or something like that. And oh my gosh. And I was like, that's my daughter.
Well, during the time she was gone, I was 2
whole hours was awesome.
Did. I was expecting a meltdown, maybe even 2, maybe even 3, honestly.
Maybe the whole time.
But yeah, maybe even her screaming the entire time. But she actually just kind of relaxed. She ended up sleeping for 45 minutes. She enjoyed some Uncle Cody snuggles for sure, and just kind of hung out with us. I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know, it was really calm and cool. And then the last 15 minutes, she was like, all right, Dad, I am done with your ass. It is time.
I was on my way home, thankfully.
It is time for Mom to get home. I need the boob.
It's crazy, the mom guilt that you feel with that. It's like, yes, I know I deserve this time because I'm, I'm with her all the time, but like you feel guilty for going and taking time with your time for yourself. And I know it's a pretty common occurrence with moms, but like you feel guilty for trying to take time for yourself. And I mean, and with Rylan, I felt it a lot more than with her, but like probably because I don't get away from her ever. Yeah. But yeah, you just sit there when you're taking that time to yourself and start thinking about, oh man, like I hope my kids don't miss me. Like maybe I should be doing something else. I could have been at home doing some chores, and like you just start thinking about that. And then you're like, wait, no, I can do this. I'm allowed to do this. Just because I have kids doesn't mean I can't take some time out for yourself. Like you can't pour from an empty cup. Kind of thing. Like as a mom you do, or as any parent I guess you do, you pour even if you don't have anything left. But it's really nice to be able to just get away for even 40 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely think this is a great insight for new parents or even parents that have done it a couple of times and they just forget these things. And maybe that should be our dad challenge or husband challenge this week, is just give them 30 minutes, 20 minutes. We don't know what is going through their head all the time. They got a lot more going on than we do 90% of the time, 99% of the time, honestly. My percentages are off, sorry. But I definitely encourage you to go grab them. I've been trying to, in the mornings, go grab Carson and pick her up and take her into the room. And she's a morning baby, thank goodness, because I'm a morning person.
I am not.
At least if I have her, I'll have somebody to chill and drink coffee with.
Instead of sitting up here by yourself.
Yeah. So at least I get some stuff done during that time, or I get to go work out. So it's not that big of a deal. But I've been trying to wake up, give Grace an extra 35, 40 minutes, just, let her enjoy a little bit of sleep without having...
Without the baby in my arms.
Without the parasite, I guess.
She's not a parasite. She's a princess.
I mean, she was in the womb, kind of.
Yeah.
So, and she's still attached like she's in the womb. So
I'm surprised. No, I'm not going to. No, never mind. I'm not even going to go there.
Put a pin in that and take all that energy and move into our first segment, which apparently everybody loves. And that is the story time segment.
Yep.
Story time.
Heck yeah, it is story time. I actually love this segment, and I've been looking forward to it because I got embarrassed last week, and I am going to not embarrass my wife.
I was going to say, then both of our stories are embarrassing for me because I will be telling one that was horrifying.
No, since we were so involved with our families this week, which we always try to be, I think my story time this week is going to be about how big of as my Aunt Connie used to call me, a dingbat I was growing up, or just a dork. And I genuinely loved playing pranks, and I hope Rylan gets that exact same mentality. So I actually have 2 stories their mini stories.
Okay.
Maybe this is the time if you get scared really easily, you grab a blanket. No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to be scary. It was scary for my mom, though. So when I was a kid, we were at the highlight of, early or late 90s, early 2000s horror. We had the slashers and all that fun stuff. And so Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and those were.
I've never seen any of those. I've seen Scream.
I know they just did a remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer. I have low expectations. Oh. I'll probably still check it out because I liked those movies, but Scream was a big one. So my first story is about my mom. Both of my stories are about my mom. Shout out Teresa. But anyways, so my cousins, whenever they come down, we would play a game called Scream. It was a play on tag. And all the cousins loved when I was Scream because I was good at it. I knew where to hide. I knew how to get up and move softly. I would get on the roof sometimes, and they had no idea how to do it. I would climb up on Uncle Audie's van thing they had at the time, and I'd climb up on the roof, or I would hide in a corner I nobody knew about. And so we would play Scream like crazy, and I was really good at it. So of course we had the costume from Halloween. Sorry. And I thought it would be really funny because I knew my mom had just called and said she was coming home from work, pre-cell phone days, of course. And I was like, ooh, I have time. So I went and got in full gear, and I went and got into the shower / bathtub because I knew.
That's really mean.
The first thing she was going to do was go to the bathroom. Sorry, Mom. And so I got in there, and she comes to the bathroom, and she shouts out, Garrett, I'll be out in a minute. You can tell me about your day. It's like, all right, cool. This sounds like I'm about to
she
get her.
She has no idea that I'm in here.
I was smiling under that mask. And so
Your poor mom.
Oh yeah, no. So I'm a tension builder. Oh yeah. So I would barely lightly move the shower curtain, and then when she would kind of peek, I'd hide really close to the other side. And even one time she kind of pulled it, and she's like, "What is going on?" And so I just kept kind of moving it, and I would make little noises here and there, and she started talking to herself. You could hear the self-doubt, and she was like, I don't know what's going on. I got to get out of here.
It always helps to hear your voice when you're scared.
Oh yeah. And so I moved the curtain just a little bit, and she was like, and she pulled it, and I was just skinny enough and just small enough that there was just enough. She still didn't see me. And she closed it. I don't know why she closed it. She closed it back. She very vividly to herself said, oh my God, I worked too hard today. And she started washing her hands. Well, then I slowly started moving the curtain, and I could kind of see her slowly look up. And then I pulled it back, and I had a knife in my hand too. And oh my gosh, the cuss words that came out of her mouth were insane. She was screaming, dropping F-bombs, and she doesn't like cussing. If you know Teresa, she does not like cussing. And she was dropping every word in the book for sure. And I laughed and laughed and laughed. And I think for a week she called me a little shit. And she was like, you know what that little shit did? And so I remember at dinner that night, I remember when she was telling, our aunts, Aunt Connie, Aunt Marina, she was like, that little shit. I'm like, yeah. I was like, a little shit indeed. And so that was funny. And my second story with Teresa, my mother, my mom, madre, is actually recent. This is actually in the last year, I think, for sure. I love trying new things. So when we went to Five Below, and I saw this new, or not new brand, but I saw a new type of chip. It was actually like, one of those, I don't know, like culture chips, I guess. So, but they were Japanese. And so they were shrimp flavored chips.
Ugh.
And I was like, that sounds terrible, but I think I got to try it. I'm not going to lie. And so I got the shrimp chips. And my mother was pumped. She was excited. I'm just kidding. She was like,
I was like,
you better
she does
not eat
like seafood.
You better not eat those things in my car. So, of course. Of course.
I remember those now.
So, of course, I had to eat them in her car.
Because Mom said not to, so I'm going to.
Exactly. Even as a grown man. But anyways.
Hope your child, I was going to say child, but children are not like that.
Oh, Rylan already is like that. What are you talking about? And so, anyways, I took one bite and I was like, oh, no, nope. Mom tried it. I think it was just me and her actually. So we were just like, good Lord, nope, we're not doing this. And we went into Sam's, left the chips in there. It was a hot day. We weren't thinking about that. When we got back in, oh my gosh, her car stunk something.
And it lingered so bad.
And I remember the first thing I said, was like, God, it smells like old dried up cooter in the car.
Like,
my mom was
Garrett
like,
Mitchell.
No. She was like, I think I should be more concerned as to how you know what old cooter smells like.
Gross.
And I told her, I was like, don't ask, Mom, don't ask. But
I like trying new things.
Exactly.
Old.
Sorry. We all get old. This is not an old badge, I promise. But
just didn't. Oh, I was. Oh, never mind.
Anyways, so my mom, because she loves calling people after stuff happens. She calls my dad and she's like, Terry, can you believe our son is eating chips and he only knows how to describe them? And first of all, they're nasty as shit. She was like, but the only way he knows how to describe them is the smell of old cooter. And she was like, and who uses the word cooter anymore?
Because you're old, apparently.
I was like, I don't know. But that was a good memory.
Yeah.
I think I have my one for next week. I'm going to have to remind myself on here. I'm not going to remember it. I have to tell, and everybody look forward to this story, the Bean Boozled story with Aunt Connie. We have to tell that story.
That's a good one.
Bean Boozled next week. Remind me in the comments. We'll go from there.
Yep.
So those are my stories for the week. Sorry I took up a lot of time. I'm curious.
Just 2 short stories. I'm just kidding. They were pretty short.
How are we making fun of Grace this week? Because you said this was
we're going to talk about my first year teaching. And I hope some of my kiddos will see this. I don't,
because this is adult oriented.
Well, they're adults now. All my little 8th graders I taught my first year teaching, they're like,
okay, we don't have to we just described that I'm old. We just described, but kind of. But
maybe some of my kiddos can remember this. Actually, 2 of them ended up having a little boy together. Oh my
goodness, Grace,
like
Marie.
2 months before Carson was born. I love them so much. But anyways, so my first year teaching, our schedule was, I was English, and so it was like English, math, and just English and math were on like a block schedule, and everything else was like regular class periods. I don't even remember how they did it, but so I only had 4 classes, but 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, but they were like an hour and a half long each. So it got to, okay, so this is, to set the stage. This is whenever jeggings were pretty stylish. I used a jeans pass one day because it was at a school where you had to dress up every day. So I used one of my jeans passes, and I wore my jeggings.
Oh my
You know
gosh.
what I'm talking about.
You didn't watch College Humor then. We don't wear jeggings.
I wish I wouldn't have. So I wore my jeggings. I was super excited because they were new. I had just gotten them. I got to wear leggings essentially to work and instead of a dress or dress pants. And I was very excited about this. And so I used to sit on, I had all my desks, facing the front, facing the whiteboard. And I sat on a table that faced my kids and,
I just not remembered what you were doing.
And so I would sit like with my feet dangling and I would just sit straight up, feet dangling, legs apart when I'm not in a dress because that's what I can, you can.
She wasn't sitting proper.
Yeah, I wasn't sitting properly. And so I go all day. It gets to 6th hour, which is my third class of the day. These are hour and a half each. This is after lunch. And two of my girls, which one of them is the one that had the baby recently. So I sit down, knees are not put together. I'm sitting there because I was a cool teacher. I sat on my desk and talked to my kids.
Self-proclaimed.
I was cool. I still am cool. But these two girls, their eyes got like super wide and they jumped up and they were like, Miss Lee, can we talk to you? And I was like, yeah, what's wrong? Come here. And they were like, no, can we talk to you in the hall? And I was like, okay. And so I walked out there and they were like, you have a really big hole in the crotch of your pants. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, you're wearing bright red underwear. And I was like, oh my God. And so then I had to walk back into my class. Mortified. Like as red as my underwear were. And I was, which, thankfully there was underwear there. I probably would have been arrested.
Shit. Yes, we went there, I guess.
Yeah, so I was mortified, sat behind my desk the rest of the day. I did not sit on top of the desk for the rest of that period and the rest of the next period. So this
is where it gets better, though.
Yeah, better / worse.
Yeah, so, no, it's way better.
So school ends, I go to the bathroom and look, it's not like a hole. They ripped at the seams in my crotch and went like all the way up the back. And I was like, oh my God. Thank God. It was just at the beginning of 6th hour, right? Wrong. So the next day, my 1st hour class, I don't know what was wrong with them. They were having a bad day. Like they were not, and I was like, okay guys, can I tell y'all something? And it might make y'all laugh. I'm sure it will laugh because, self-deprecating humor makes others laugh typically. They're like, yeah, okay. And so I said, I told them that story and they were like, yeah, we know. I was like, what do you mean you know? Yeah, your pants were torn 1st hour. 1st hour out of the block schedules. So not 45 minutes of flashing my bright red underwear to students.
3 hours.
3 hours plus my lunch, plus my conference, plus my other planning period. And then 6th hour. And so I was like, y'all just didn't want to tell me that my underwear was on display. And they were like, we didn't want to embarrass you. And I was like, are you kidding me? And so then the next class, my second block of the day, I'm like, did y'all know? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, no one wanted to fucking tell me? Are you kidding me? I didn't say the F word, but I was just like, y'all, no, nobody told me. I was going around. I could have been walking around in the school hallways with all of the students. This was a pretty big junior high. All of them seeing it. No one said a word until freaking 6th hour. So I had just been flashing my bright red underwear to everybody. And it's not like it could have been like a soft like blue to match the jeggings or anything. No, it was bright red. Like a beacon. It was mortifying. Shout out to Aurelie. She was one of the ones that told me in 6th hour. And then there was I don't remember the other girl's name. It was so long ago. I think it was Ashley. I'm pretty sure it was Ashley who told me. But yeah, so that was mortifying. That was my first year teaching. But
thank y'all for being the
y'all are the real
ones.
MVPs, and forget all the other people in the 3 hours before, because it was.
I mean, they had good intentions, but
they didn't.
it's not okay. How would you feel? Would you be able? I would not be able to go up to my female teacher as a male and be like, "Hey, dude, your panties are showing." Like, I don't know. So maybe.
Oh no, I would go up to any and be like, I'm so sorry. I actually did. And I had a teacher, 8th grade, and her thong, we're saying fuck and shit and everything. So her thong, she was like bent over doing something, and her thong went up, and me and 2 other girls were like, excuse me. I'm not going to name any names, but we were like, hey, that's showing. She was like, oh, thank you. Thanks. And no, if I can save somebody the embarrassment, I really try to do so.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know. I feel like that is definitely a conversation that I would. Maybe somebody needed to do what those girls did earlier. I do agree with that, but that is a hard conversation.
Especially because I was actually really close to some of the girls in the classes before too. Like, I just got along with them really well, and I got along with all those kids really well. I really did enjoy my first year teaching with those kids. Oh. But no, it was absolutely mortifying.
Sounds it.
Yeah.
Well, now y'all know even more embarrassing stuff about the Brewer family. So with that being said, it's time to move on to our next segment.
5 minutes on the soapbox. Let the people know. Fight it up, can't get enough. Now here we go.
And now it's time for everybody's favorite segment. I definitely think it's mine, and that is the 5-minute soapbox. So, as we told you last week, on the 5-minute soapbox, we'll both take 2.5 minutes. Grace will get her phone ready, and we'll take 2.5 minutes apiece, just ranting about something that just grinds our gears. As
I'm
Peter
very good at complaining. I love this because I'm allowed to talk about whatever I want. No one can. It's just like no one can interrupt me or tell me I'm overthinking something, or I get to complain about whatever I want and be validated about it, and it's wonderful. Not saying that he doesn't do all these things for me, but I love complaining.
All right, 3, 2.
Wait. I got to tell you what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. What are you talking about? I'm in a rush, I guess, apparently. I got something in my eye, so I'm like over here like halfway crying, like, what the heck is in my eye? But anyways.
I'm going to be discussing women's pants.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so how come men's pants, any store you go to, like, they are all measured the same? Because he always talks about how he's like 32, 34, whatever. I don't know the numbers because women's pants aren't like that. Women's pants are like, oh, this is size 8 at American Eagle. And then guess what? You wear a size 8 typically in your Target pants. You go to American Eagle and you try to pull them up and they won't go past your thighs. And it's like, it's acting like it's a size 2. And so like you see pictures on social media of the same size pants, like 8s and 10s and 4s, and they've got like 5 pairs of 4s and they're all different sizes, which I haven't fit in a 4 since like 8th grade. But anyways, and then they've got size 8 and they differ by like inches. It's not even like a couple centimeters difference. It's a couple inches difference. And it can make women feel so freaking bad because they wear a pair of pants and they're like, oh, cool, I'm a size 8. And then they go to freaking Target and try on a pair of 8s. But guess what? Those don't fit. They got to put on I got that mixed up. They go to Target and they put on a pair of 8s, and then they go to American Eagle or, you know, any other clothing brand. It's not, you know, I'm just giving an example, but they go to American Eagle and they put on a size 8 and won't go up there past their thighs. And they're like, oh, what the heck? Did I gain 30 pounds overnight? Like, what's happening here? And so don't even get me started on that. Haha, but here I am getting started on it. Okay, and then something else about women's jeans. How much time? Okay, I still got a minute. Something else about women's jeans. Where the hell are the pockets? Why do guys get black hole pockets where they can just put calculators and phones and wallets and spare change and a freaking puppy into them? And women, some women's pockets are sewn shut. They're there for decoration. Why is the pocket there for decoration? It needs to be utilized like a freaking bat utility belt. We don't want the extra accessories. We want to be able to just shove things in our pockets and leave the house. And we can't do that because it's because my theory is that it's retailers trying to sell purses. If you don't have enough space in your pockets for things, you have to put everything else in your purse. How much time?
Theory. It's a theory.
Okay, it's a theory. Yeah, I mean, that's my theory. Okay, and then low rise. Why are low rise jeans coming back? I am not like, you know, heavy. Okay.
Yes.
Again, I love to complain.
That is a theory. Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
We should look into that.
Yeah.
Definitely feel like that's probably true. Or we should just $1 million idea invent like deep pocketed women's jeans. So
yeah.
I think that would be a good thing to research.
I don't like that low rise jeans are coming back.
Your segment's over, big dog.
Muffin tops are not cute on me.
God.
That's really all I wanted to say.
You're such a dork.
Okay, your turn. What are you going to be talking about?
My turn. Okay. I want to prelude this with, this is no way geared towards my brother, but a little bit geared towards my brother, Cody. I love you. I'm not bashing you by any means, but he did create this hatred, and he did it a few times, and it kind of reminded me, and I'm just like, I don't know. So my 5-minute soapbox is going to be about smacking. Yes. If I can even make it go that long, I don't know. It just annoys me. But anyways, I guess
I could take up the remainder of your time if you want. We can
wait,
just play it.
I gotta yawn. See, this is when you know you're getting old, guys. I've like yawned 10 times in the last like 2 minutes. So,
did you know there are some people who do not need to yawn when they like hear the word yawn or read the word
crazy.
yawn?
Yawn. Hope I got one of y'all.
I really hate it.
I got her. Anyways, we are going to talk about smacking.
Yep.
Okay.
And go.
I don't know why I have always gotten annoyed, extremely annoyed by just, I can handle you burping, I can handle you farting, I can, none of that stuff bugs me. But when we're eating and I can hear how your food fucking tastes, it irritates the dog out of me. I mean, it is so frustrating when I can hear how your steak tastes. I can taste every node. Oh my gosh. Now, this is my rant. You shut your face. Anyways, I believe I don't know. Grace distracted me because this is my 5-minute soapbox and she interrupted me, which I did towards the end of hers too, so payback. But what I was going to say was there's something about just hearing that. And I want this to be ASMR for our listeners. I can't do it. And I used to be so mean to my brother about it at table. Mom, get him to stop smacking. And then you do it more. And then she'd be like, Cody, close your mouth. And I'm not his dad, so I don't say anything now. Now I just kind of put my hand on my head and just try to drown it out. But I can't do it. And he's not the only one. I mean, sometimes, eating with at lunch with some of my former students and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, I'll go eat with you. And they're sitting there. And this shouldn't be a thing. Just close your mouth. We should all be teaching our kids to to chew with your mouth closed. It's pretty simple. I don't want to see your food being chewed up, and I dang sure don't want to hear it. If I can hear the Fruity Pebbles singing, I have an issue. I don't know what that means, but that's how frustrated I am. I'm losing my train of thought. Uh-oh, we're getting interrupted by a phone call. I think Cody heard us talking about him, because that was Cody calling. Cody, I'll call you back in a minute, I promise. But anyways, I definitely think that we should all be chewing with our mouth closed. We should, I don't know. That's my rant.
Time.
That's my rant. Because I don't know. Just close your fucking mouth. But Cody made it back home safe and sound for our viewing audience. You know, we just to let you know, Cody is safe, and I'm glad he's safe. And I'm sorry that your smacking annoyed me. And but I love you. I do. I love you. So, anything you want to add on top of that, or
I have a lot I could say. Not about smacking.
Okay, to avoid Grace talking more about low-rise jeans, I think it's time we move on.
Monstrosity.
To nerding?
No, this one is strengthening you.
I want to be a nerd, okay?
You are.
Yes, we can strengthen our audience first. So we'll be right back.
Through the house, through the blues, we're strengthening you.
We talked about strengthening you last week, and this is our segment where, you know, we just empower you. We've said it. We'll always have the disclaimer, we're not professionals, but we definitely want to give our perspective. Just maybe it will help somebody, you know, just kind of see there's different ways of thinking. But anyways, I truly think and believe that when it comes to your family, that the family you create always comes first. Mm-hmm. I firmly appreciate, you know, my in-laws. I appreciate my parents. I love them completely. And this is not by any means saying you forget about them by any means. Mm-hmm. You include them. But you include
them in your family stuff.
Yes. You operate within the family you created. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or say anything, because our families know that we love them from the bottom of our heart. But when it comes to decision making, like holidays, everyday stuff, like,
major life changes.
I'm thinking about Grace and my kids. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. I'm not thinking about everybody else it'll affect. But I do. I mean, I do still think about that. I'm like, Holly, you know, this does, you know, do this. It puts me further away. I've got this to worry about. I mean, I do still, you know, consider them. But at the end of the day, you know, my decision making is coming with them. And like,
if you want to, you keep them in your mind, but like, what's going to be best for my family right now? Yeah.
Like, and it's like, hey, I've got to do this for my family. I would love for you to be a part of it, but just know that this comes first. And I think it's just, you know, our belief that that's just how it should be. And no judgments to anybody. I love big families too. I, on the other hand, would love to have, you know, a family compound one day. I think that would be the coolest freaking thing in the world, to be able to go visit your parents and stuff and take care of them and love them. I definitely, I love that stuff too. But
my brother said we should start that. My little brother, Cash, shout out to Cash. He said that we should build next to him one day and just have a little compound going.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I would love to be able to see my brother and mom and them every day. I would love to be able to work with them. But, you know, like I said, I think this if you've ever had family issues, or you've ever been made to feel guilty, if you're putting your family first, I believe that you're doing the right thing by the people you're closest with.
And that's something that like our generation really has done. It's like a lot of people our age, excuse me, a lot of people our age have like cut off their own parents because they're like, that's not like your behavior or your attitude or your like unwillingness to listen to me or to like empathize with me, or you hate my wife and my wife comes first, or you're not going to treat my children that way. Like people are cutting off, they're setting boundaries setting hard boundaries because they're putting their families first, like their made families, not the families they came from.
I could never cut off my family. I could never do that. So that's definitely not what I'm saying at all. I guess we're just saying, like, when it comes to you're the ones raising your kids. Mm-hmm. I don't think outside sources outside of our created family should have any decision making on how our kids are raised, on where our kids go to school, how our kids believe, so on and so forth. That's all our decision. Just because we were raised one way doesn't mean necessarily that we're instilling that same stuff. And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. I think that we are blessed with a great family. I
really like that, like, even like with your parents and with my parents, like if they have ever said something to either of our kids, or done something that we don't agree with, like we're able to pull them aside and be like, hey, like we're gonna be doing this as parents, and like I'd appreciate it if you did that or followed our role for our kids. Like that's something that I appreciate about our parents, because our parents are very like team players. Like they're like, oh yeah, my bad, I'm sorry, yeah, no, I got it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I guess that comes from more from hearing people around us, and they're like, my mom said this or their mom said that, and pitting some of their problems. And maybe that's a whole nother thing to talk about, like putting your problems into your family, like your outer family, like letting them know all of your problems. Yeah. I think that you can't is an easy way to create enemies with your own family.
You can't complain. Like, yes, go, if you need to vent about something, that's fine. But like, you can't go to your family members and say, oh, well,
especially
Garrett,
every time something bad happens.
And be like, Garrett did this, Garrett did that, and blah, blah, blah. Because at some point, all they're going to hear is bad about.
Why are you with them?
Why are you with them? Yeah. They're going to start resenting them because they love you more. Like, you're... Like,
now you're their baby.
My mom loves me more than she loves you. Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to love your children like more than almost anybody in the world, and not including your spouse. Like,
and like talk with your spouse if you're having a problem. Go talk with your spouse, even if you think that you can't talk with them. Like, like at some point, like just either go get somebody that can help you talk, or sit there and like, hey, this needs to happen right now. And if they're not willing to, then get somebody to intervene and
there have been times when I've had to talk to your mom and like be like, hey, Garrett and I got in this argument. Like, what do I need to do to help him? Like, especially when we first started out, like I'd be like, hey, I'm just not quite sure how to handle this right now. Like, what do you think? And I wouldn't tell her all the details or anything, but I'd be like, hey, we got mad at each other. Like, I'm not sure. Is he the kind of person that needs space? Like, because I mean, we'd be at the point where we were mad at each other. We didn't really want to talk. But like, I'm very much I mean, if you know me, I've got pretty high anxiety, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this, and thankfully you've helped a lot of that. But I used to be like, oh my gosh, we got in a fight. He's gonna break up with me, and just because we had a fight and an argument, and so. But now I'm just like, I know I can argue with Garrett, and he's still gonna be there. But anyways, and I called your mom and I was like, hey, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. And she's like, yeah, you need to just give him space for a little bit. He just needs to process and calm down and come back. And, you do, or you did. And
Yeah.
now we don't really get too angry enough to where we can't just solve it right
That
then
is
and
the
there.
best thing. And you know what? I mean this as a brag. The best thing about our relationship is even when we do argue, like we talk through it and like we really, by the end of it, I'm sorry. You
And
know,
that took a while to get to.
it did.
Yeah.
It did. Like, I mean, and it's so nice that we're there now to that point. And not every time, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, we're not perfect. And I've said that probably 1,000 times, but we do a wonderful job of talking and trying to get to an understanding between each other. But
You know, sometimes it's helped that like we've been able to talk about our past arguments too, and like be like, hey, if an argument like that happens again, like this is
Yeah.
what I need from you. Like I remember that argument, and I remember I just didn't like
just to help
feel
avoid
heard.
another one.
Yeah, I remember I didn't feel heard, and so this is a way that you could help me with that next time, or you know, this is a way that maybe if I'm not thinking clearly, you could help me think clearly.
And we've done a good job where we're like, hey, can we talk for a minute? And we, like, if something's going on or feeling a certain way, and we've done a great job getting to points where we can actually do that. But I guess where I was going with the, you know, complaining to your family, like, there's just, I get your people are your people, and you need to vent to them, and they've always been there. But if you are painting a picture of just your husband or your wife
Is the enemy.
I mean, then eventually your family, as their protectors, your outside family, are going to be, you know, oh, he needs to be out, or she
You
needs to
complain to
be
your
out.
mom enough, your mom's gonna be like, all right, I need what's best for my kid, and apparently that person's not it.
And I mean, so brag about all the good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't talk to your family at all, but like, hey,
Sometimes you need to
give
vent
them a
bit.
call and be like, oh my gosh, we got this argument, you know, I know we're going to be fine, you know, but give both sides. Don't sit there and try to label it as, you know, they're just a problem. Usually when there's a fight going on, there's two sides to all of it. So, but you know, don't use that, your outer family, to, you know, paint your other half as the bad guy, because they're not. Usually when you're fighting, it's a good thing. Y'all are trying, not when it comes to fisticuffs and you know, all the other nonsense. But yeah, don't lay your hands on each other ever.
And
Don't call each other names. Just take a deep breath. If you need to cool down for a minute, and then come back to it, but never leave it unresolved, or it's just going to constantly be brought back up. But, you know, I guess to bring it all together, if it happens in your family, the family you created, keep it there for the most part. And you don't have to be reclusive. You don't have to push people away. You don't have to do anything. I'm not saying that at all. Just know where your priorities need to go first. And then don't make that family that you've created. It's the same thing with your kids. Imagine if you're going to everybody and you're saying, oh my God, our kid is a monster. He does this, he does this, he does this, he does this.
Ours are angels.
And imagine if you did that. And they're like, oh my God, they're going to tell everybody that they know. Like, they don't know what they're doing. They, you know, they're raising them wrong. They should be listening to me. And it just creates more, it just creates more nonsense. So like, just keep your stuff with your family. So,
real quick, something I read the other day that this conversation reminded me of, it's like a lot of the generation before us, like, didn't argue in front of their kids. And I've actually read about it before, of why it is good to have a healthy emphasis on healthy argument in front of your kids, so that they can learn, like, arguments don't need to be like screaming matches, or like there's a way that you can have an argument and you still feel safe, you can feel heard, and like know that an argument doesn't mean the end of a relationship.
Yeah.
And I really like that, because I think, you know, I mean, your kids' role models, I think showing them even not positive things, how to, you know, turn it into a positive situation can be better, or it can be a good thing in the long run. Another thought that just popped in my head. I like the whole like if you're having an argument with your spouse or significant other or whoever, remember it's not you versus them. It's both of you versus the problem.
Exactly. You're getting to the problem, not you two are not the problem at all.
And like I've been guilty of thinking me versus you before, like plenty of times in the past before. But I think like having that thought in the back of your head, like maybe even just like maybe if this is the first time you're hearing that, like maybe having that in the back of your mind the next time you have an argument with your significant other, maybe that can help like kind of shift your perspective into me and him or her versus the problem, not me versus him.
Agreed.
But back to kind of the overall topic of like your maid family is first. Like we go on our walks, and we've talked about this multiple times on our walks. Like your kids like needs and everything, like all that comes first, because they, especially when they're little and they can't care for themselves. But you need to have your relationship with your spouse come first generally, so that you can care for your kids and show them like love and affection and happiness and healthy functioning relationships, so that they have that to go forward when they're older. They know what to look for, and they know what's not healthy. And I just know that we've talked about that a lot on our walks, and I thought that might be good to bring up. Yeah. You have anything else on that?
No, I'm just listening.
No. I think that's all for me, unless we talk back and forth a little bit, but maybe into that segment, unless you have something else to add.
No, I think we go on to the next segment and kind of,
All right.
Start
Our
getting
next
nerdy
segment
with it.
is getting nerdy with it. No.
And then get nerding with it. We talk about all things nerdy, and honestly, I guess today's topic is
2 different video games that
Video
we
games.
actually really ended up enjoying.
And if you're, kids have one or you have one yourself, I definitely recommend playing them, because you will feel like you're arguing at times playing these games. And also, you're going to learn to work through some stuff.
What are they called? What games?
Yeah, they're co-op games.
Co-op.
So they're ones, they're really cool. I wish I had the information on the company that does it, but the titles are, the newest game is Split Fiction, and then the game prior was It Takes Two. And they are all geared towards, you can only solve puzzles, you can only finish things if you work together.
And I have never really been a big video game person until Hogwarts Legacy came out. And then I had to learn how to play with, I can do like the one knob on a controller, and
It's whenever the camera pans.
yeah, it's when you have to control the camera and the person. I could not do that for decades, which makes me feel
That's very
very
true.
old saying that.
Like
could
PlayStation 3,
not
she
do
was
it.
terrible at. Like, we
Yeah.
played that J-Stars versus game for forever.
And I
And you just
for
could
some,
not figure
it
it out.
wouldn't click in my brain. I don't know why. But then Hogwarts Legacy came out, and I mean, if you know me, Harry Potter is number 1 in like all books, movies, whatever. Like Harry Potter's my favorite. But like I had to learn how to do that to play Hogwarts Legacy, and thankfully I did, because that was a game I was like, I am playing this.
And you got really good at it.
I got pretty good at it. And so now then we could play video games together, and Garrett actually found Split Fiction, and he was like, it's supposed to be really good. And I was like, okay.
Well, I've seen some good
I can
reviews
play
on it.
Yeah.
And it just sounded like fun, because I don't really game as much anymore.
Mhm.
Like, it's rare that I ever get to sit down and play games, because I want to spend time with y'all. But I was like, this could be a fun one for me and her. It's so in Split Fiction and in It Takes Two, it's so they give you, so you can buy the game, And then they give you a free code. So if you want somebody to play with online, you can just give them the code and they have access to the entire game.
Which is really cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
But it's
not
meant
taking
to,
advantage of other people.
yeah, it's meant to bring back the split screen concept that most of us grew up with if you're our age.
He's older.
My age, sorry. And it wants you to get back like kind of sitting on the couch and playing games together again. And
which we did, and it was a lot of fun because I knew how to do it, and
we found ourselves wanting to go back to it. And like Split Fiction is like a really cool game that mixes sci-fi and just like a brief thing. It's about some storytellers that you know, their stories are getting hijacked and they're putting these like little virtual reality machine
that reads
it takes
the ideas from your stories, any story that you've made, and
one of them is fantasy and the other one's like sci-fi, and it just does like such a beautiful job of mixing them.
The graphics are beautiful.
Yeah, and it's just so cool seeing them blended together and the different concepts. I mean, there's times
he's like very much sci-fi and I'm very much fantasy, so it was cool doing that. Yeah.
But I mean, there's 1 minute you're playing like an old Mega Man game, like a platformer. And then there's other times you're playing like an Assassin's Creed. You're doing like
running away from trolls.
Yeah, you're doing like Crash Bandicoot running away, and there's like all these like different
riding
genres.
Dragons.
Yeah, that are
mine rolled. How are you going to put a dragon in a game that can't fly? It rolls. I don't understand.
That's the only downside. But the graphics and stuff, and it's fun. And like, so if you can play video games at all, like, and you like puzzles and you like trying to solve stuff
and you
together.
need to work on your communication skills with your
and
partner.
Sometimes we argued with each other, and sometimes we'd just run off, like, and just start doing stuff.
Sometimes we would just run off.
I would just run off.
You would just run off while still trying to figure it out.
I got very impatient sometimes, but it's okay.
That was something that we joked about. It was Patience, Young Grasshopper.
Yeah, it was fun. And then It Takes Two was the game that came prior.
It's same creators.
Yeah, same studio and everything, but in this one, it's about two parents getting a divorce, and their daughter's sad,
and she makes
some magic happens, and they turn into her little clay dolls, her stick doll and her clay doll, and then you're traversing this world, like, which is like the backyard, the tree, and it's like
you go in the
hyper emphasized.
You can understand the animals. You speak to the animals. Spiders.
And that one's cool in its own aspect too. Like I think
just kind of like thinking about like, oh, what if they were shrunk down? What would the world look like to them? Or what would
somebody
the animals
got high
be
as
doing?
hell and wrote some of that stuff.
What would the animals be doing here? These squirrels they're military squirrels. That's what they are.
I'm telling you, it was so
fighting what were they fighting? The wasps? Yeah. So I mean, it was a funny concept.
Yeah, it was a hot mess of just somebody's weird, like, I don't know, fantastical dream that they had. I don't know. It was cool. It was really fun to play together. Like, it wasn't something we got to do every night, but like. But we got into the groove of it and beat both of them in a 2-week time span. Like, we got to the point where, like, I want to play both of them again. Like, I would play them through again. They actually made another one that was released several years ago called Brothers, and there's another one. It's something. It's about two guys, or something. But that's also about two brothers, I think, too. But Brothers is like maybe their first one. No Way Out. Is that maybe the other one? I don't remember. But I know Brothers it got an update and it got like a refreshed graphic card or whatever. I don't know. I'm not that nerdy. I couldn't tell you that. You're that nerdy. Not to where I know that. I'm not like technology nerdy. But no, they were fun because. Like, we ended up moving the PlayStation from the living room down to the bedroom so that we could get our kids in bed, because we all sleep in the same bed, as we talked about last week. But we all sleep in the same bed, so it was easy to get the kids to bed, and then he and I could play the game. And Rylan thought he was playing the game. Rylan thought he was playing the game. He grabbed our extra controller, and he'd be like, Daddy, you be the blue one, Mommy purple one, Rye be pink one. And he thought he was doing a really good job. And we always said, good job, Rylan. But I mean, it was fun time together. Like,
just laying in bed and laughing and, doing something that we both enjoyed.
Bickering about a video game. So,
Garrett, quit, burn it off.
learning patience.
And he would go, "Oh my gosh, mommy." And we're like, "Oh my gosh, mommy. Tell her to hurry up."
So I guess our message with this is, find something that, you can nerd out on and enjoy, even if it's like Phase 10 or Uno or anything like that. A cool thing in It Takes Two is they have a chess part where you can actually play chess.
And I don't know the rules of chess.
And I barely remember it. My uncle taught me way back when. And so, I know, basics of chess.
But there are, instructions on a book off to the side that you can take your character over to.
And you can just go back and play it at any time.
It's a mini game, and so you can access it from the main menu.
And it's legit chess. So, I don't know.
We talked about him relearning chess and me learning chess and, eventually finding a chessboard or something at a garage sale or something.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of even 10 years ago when we didn't have great internet or something. We're like, we got to do something together. And I was like, hey, I have all my old Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Do you want to relearn?
Oh, yeah.
And we started doing that almost every night.
We played Yu-Gi-Oh a lot.
We used to just sit there and duel each other.
I had
and
a
just
great deck.
You did. They're still all made and stuff, and they're in a tote out there. But
I couldn't tell you how to play.
I couldn't remember.
I don't remember. Because
remember we had to learn. I had to learn all the new rules, and you had to learn all the rules. But I mean, it was fun. So I definitely encourage you finding something that, even if one of y'all, or I encourage embracing, something your partner enjoyed and giving it a chance. And then I also encourage you to find something new, like we tried, and we ended up having fun. So, and then make moments, or make those small little moments that you get when your kids are
asleep.
Like right now,
like us, we're recording podcasts, and
we're getting to do these little dates.
Yeah.
So I enjoy them.
Reminiscing, and I hadn't heard of the first story you told with your mom.
The scream.
Yeah, we've been together 10 years.
Yeah.
I've never heard that story, so it's fun,
She's gonna laugh. I can't wait till some of her coworkers that have listened to this give her a hard time. They're like, "Did he really scare you?"
It's fun,
yeah, that little shit.
You think you know everything about your partner, and you can still, hopefully we'll still be saying that in 40 years. Oh, you still get surprises. Yeah.
Agreed. But I guess before we close out the podcast and end the show, I'd like to thank everybody that listened. I mean, almost 100
we had
plays.
A lot of people last week. I was stunned.
And actually, people messaging us and I loved it. Y'all were cute. I appreciate it. I'm glad somebody listened and enjoyed it. And then we had a few people that were like, "When's the next one coming out?"
Yeah, my cousin Sadie. She's going to be listening to this because she texted me halfway through the week and was like, "Release the next episode."
And she wasn't even the only one that was like, "Hey."
I know.
And so that's exciting. And, if you do care about us and you care about it, I encourage you to like and share everything that we put out.
Follow.
And
TikTok, Instagram,
sharing's
Facebook.
probably the biggest thing, and interacting. We want to hear y'all's stories and stuff. We want to have some back and forth. So
send us emails, or our emails in our TikTok bio, and Facebook too, I think. But send us emails of stories, or comment on a video and we can shout you out. But I expected to get 10 listens from my sister and your sibling and your, I was going to say your siblings and parents, but you only have a brother, your parents and your brother. And I was like, maybe I can convince my brother to listen to it, my little brother. But we had almost 100 listens on Spotify.
Yeah. And I would live update, but it'll stop the recording. But no, we were at 98 when I looked earlier. So which is awesome.
I know. I never expected.
One of these days I want to look at it and see almost at 10,000.
That'd be
I think
wonderful.
That would be so cool. I'd like to be able to share this with more people.
Yeah.
And we can only do that with, you guys that are listening and are following along with this. So we appreciate y'all.
It was really cool to see that.
Agreed. So that's all we have for this week's episode. If you have any questions or want to reach out, like we said,
have stories,
don't hesitate. We want to hear more. We love hearing other people's stuff as much as ours. So I hope you keep following along, and thanks for watching and listening and everything else under the sun. and hanging out with us on Brewing with the Brewers.
See y'all next week.
Bye.